next home while selling your current one might feel like trying to solve a puzzle while moving pieces. But what if there were a strategy to make it feel almost effortless? I recently worked with a couple who felt completely stuck. They knew they wanted to downsize after becoming empty nesters, but they were terrified they'd sell too quickly and be left scrambling for their next place. I actually heard of somebody in this situation right now that's living in a hotel right now, but they don't mind because they were relocating from out of state. Anyway, this particular family heard horror stories of families bouncing between short-term rentals or having to move in with relatives. And let's be honest, no one dreams of crashing in a family member's guest room or basement with their grown-up kids coming and going. So today we're breaking down the real challenges of being both a buyer and a seller at the same time, the mindset shifts that make all the difference, and the steps to move forward with confidence instead of chaos. I'm Betty Russo, and this is Living the North Jersey Lifestyle. Here we turn big moves into smooth transitions with clear strategy, community insights, and a personal touch, so you always feel one step ahead of the game. In North Jersey right now, homes are still moving fast. No surprise there, but when you're juggling both sides of the process, the stakes feel even higher. You're not just selling a property, you're planning your next chapter, and timing it right can make or break the entire experience. Today, I'll share the most common hurdles dual role clients face, the mistakes I see savvy homeowners make, and my approach to creating a seamless bridge between selling and buying so you can feel prepared and not panicked. If you have a friend or a neighbor considering a move, but they're feeling stuck on what's next, send them this episode. It might be the exact guidance they need to feel empowered and excited about their next step. Of course, having the right strategy is only part of the equation. Understanding the current market dynamic is just as important. After all, even the best plan can fall flat on its face if it isn't in sync with what's happening right now. So let's zoom in on what we're seeing here in Wayne, New Jersey this summer and look at the latest trends and numbers shaping the market today. Make no mistake, these trends are similar across much of North Jersey. The story here is clear. It's still very much a strong seller's market. With just 1.8 months of inventory in June, sellers continue to hold the upper hand. If you've been waiting for a sign that says, it's the right time, this is the right time to sell. While inventory did rise 32.5% month over month, it's still at a level that keeps competition high and options limited for buyers. That slight increase gives buyers a few more choices, but overall, supply remains tight, and that's exactly why sellers still have so much leverage. Buyers in Wayne are coming in prepared and determined. Homes in June were selling for an average of 107% of the asking price. That's 7% over asking, which is up 1.5% month over month. We're seeing strong offers, bidding wars, and quick decisions across the board. I had one client who listed their home and had 7 offers within the first weekend, and that is not uncommon. Again, homes in Wayne are still moving fast with a median of just 16 days on the market in June. For sellers, that means you need to be ready to move quickly once you list. For buyers, it's a reminder to have your financing tight and your mindset even tighter, because hesitation can cost you the home you love. You know, I always ask my clients to ask themselves what it would feel like if they waited that extra day and then found out that the home they loved and have been dreaming about was already gone. So don't hesitate. The median sold price in June in Wayne was $721,000, a testament to Wayne's strong appeal and the demands for the lifestyle it offers. Beyond the numbers, what really makes this market special is the lifestyle. Wayne has top-rated schools, beautiful parks, favorite local restaurants, and that close-knit community feel that keeps people rooted here for years. In a market moving this fast, having the right strategy isn't just helpful, it's essential. In a place like Wayne and other towns across North Jersey, it's about more than just buying or selling a home. It's about stepping into a lifestyle that truly feels like home. So in a market like Wayne's, and like I said before, so many other towns in North Jersey, where homes are moving quickly and buyers are stepping up with strong offers, what happens when you're not just selling, but also buying your next home? That's a whole different layer of strategy. This is something I guide my clients through all the time because balancing both sides of the move require a clear plan, a strong mindset, and a little flexibility, or perhaps a lot of flexibility. Let's break down exactly how to approach it so you can feel confident and prepared every step of the way. The first step is knowing your numbers before you list. I can't stress this enough. One of my buyer-seller clients almost skipped this part. They started browsing dream homes before even talking about what they net from their current home. Once we sat down and ran the numbers, their estimated sales price, moving costs, and how much they needed, for an impressive down payment, their entire strategy shifted. They realized they could comfortably move sooner and with less stress than they thought. Imagine that. When you know exactly what your walkaway number looks like, you're not making decisions in the dark. You're empowered, and that confidence radiates through every choice you make. The second step, line up your financing game plan early. In North Jersey's competitive market, coming in with a strong offer is critical, and home sale contingencies or subject to sale clauses can really hurt your negotiating power. I always encourage clients to talk with a trusted lender about their options because, let's face it, I'm not a mortgage professional, but I know some really great ones. Even if you never need those options, knowing them puts you ahead. Imagine house hunting with the freedom to say yes when you find the right one instead of scrambling to get your current home sold fast. Step 3, master your timing and use your leverage to your advantage. In a strong seller's market, you have the power to negotiate terms that make your next move easier, like perhaps a rent-back agreement or a flexible closing date. With multiple offers lined up, you have the upper hand. By setting these terms up front, you maintain control, turning what could feel like a scramble into a smooth, strategic transition. Next, focus on presentation and positioning. Your home needs to stand out so you can sell quickly and for top dollar. Staging, high-quality photos, and strategic pricing aren't optional. They're the tools that create momentum. I've spoken about this before, all the time, actually. I speak about this every occasion. And I'll link another episode or two in the show notes for your easy reference. When your home sells quickly, you hold the cards. And when you have options, you have the power. Step 5, have a backup plan you feel good about. No one wants to think about it, but having a temporary place lined up can turn panic into peace of mind. Maybe it is family. Maybe it is a short-term rental. Just knowing you have a safety net changes your entire mindset from fear to flexibility. Just take a minute to consider your options and take some stress off of your shoulders. Before we wrap this part, here's a myth that needs to be debunked. So many people think they have to wait until they found the perfect next home before they even think about listing. I'm not sure that anyone's told you this before, but that belief sounds safe, but it's really just one of the biggest reasons people miss out on their ideal move. In a hot seller's market like here in North Jersey, if you don't have your current home prepared, positioned, and ready, you can't move quickly enough when the right new home hits the market. There is zero time to waste. This might sting, but it's the truth. You don't find your dream home and then start getting your house ready. You start getting your house ready so you can actually win your dream home. Because in a fast-moving market, hesitation may cost you. The best moves start with action, not waiting. You don't need more time. You need clarity and a plan. And that's exactly what I'm here to help you build. If you're still on the fence about how to time your move or worried you'll have to choose between selling well and buying smart, just know this. There's a path forward that doesn't involve guessing, scrambling, or settling. Let's talk. No pressure, no fluffs given. Just a real strategy for where you are and where you're headed. In this market, moving without a plan is the real risk. Let's make sure that's not you. Now let's talk community and big hearts. I'm so excited to bring a very special guest in today to close out today's episode. If you know me, you know I love animals, and supporting local rescue work is something close to my heart. Today, I'm chatting with Kathy from One Paw at a Time Rescue, a wonderful local organization dedicated to giving animals a second chance and finding them loving homes. Let's get into it. I am here with Kathy Van Dine. Kathy is the president of the board for One Paw at a Time Rescue.
Correct.
Kathy, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Tell us how this rescue team got started and what's the backstory?
Okay, so the backstory is my husband's cousin, Stephanie Kleiber. She worked in animal rescue for a really long time, and she decided to open up her own rescue. So I also volunteered a lot in rescue, specifically for dogs, although I love cats too. And she asked me to be one of her board members, and I said, absolutely. So she runs out of West Milford.
Okay.
And she is a foster-based rescue, so she only works out of foster. She doesn't have a facility, and she rescues a lot of dogs from other parts of the country, honestly. That's her thing.
Okay, so you just touched on something that I wasn't even ready to get to until the end, but I know you said across the country.
Yeah.
But do we have any out-of-country examples?
Stories? Well, we have one story, but it was really all me initiating it. Mm-hmm. Last year, I was in Greece. My family is from there. They're from an island called Kefalonia. And we were at a restaurant that was kind of remote, and there was a dog hanging out there. And I asked his backstory, and he was dumped there, which was really sad. And the dogs are actually far and few between strays there, thank God.
Okay.
A lot more cats. But I felt bad for him because the restaurant closes in the winter. And I said, where's he going?
Oh.
And they said, we don't know. So I started the ball rolling with actually Rescue Diva out of California. She has connections to Greece, and Stephanie through One Paw at a Time, and we got the dog to come here. So we had his passport, and he traveled.
He had a passport. I'm sure you had to cut through a lot of red tape to get him here.
It was a lot of work. It was capturing him, getting him fostered there, getting him updated on vaccines, getting his passport, transporting. We had an escort for him, and then we met him at Newark Airport, which was really, really neat. We had somebody set up that I knew to take him in, but he did not get along with one of their cats, which he is cat friendly. So Rescue Diva, who actually was the one that helped me, ended up taking him to California. So he went back on a plane. His name is Mihaly now, and he lives the life in San Diego, California.
Oh my gosh. So
it was
kudos to Rescue Diva and everyone else involved.
Yes.
And this just goes to show your level of commitment and dedication to animal welfare and everything you do.
I love
amazing.
animals. It's something I've just been passionate about since I was a child. So I really do. And listen, people looked at me and said, oh my God, you're going through all this trouble for one dog. But I just feel like every animal you save is an animal saved.
Oh my gosh. So you said you've always loved animals since you were a child. So have I. But when did you realize that animal rescue was like part of your calling?
Honestly, it was pre-COVID. I started volunteering at a local shelter to walk the dogs there because I had a friend that said, oh, they have a lot of dogs and they don't get walked. So it was quite overwhelming when I first went there. There was a lot of pit bulls, which they do get a bad rap, and I was very overwhelmed by that breed and not knowing them. But I will tell you, they have become my favorite breed. They are incredible.
I was going to ask you that. They get a bad rap, but
Yes.
I've seen so many examples of pit bulls that are just big babies.
Big babies.
Is that how you would describe them?
Big babies. I had one that was 120 pounds. His name was Murphy. I brought him actually to News 12 and showcased him there on their pet page. And he was a pure gentleman, and he got adopted through that. But I have gotten dogs adopted from that shelter just by showcasing how wonderful the pitties are, honestly, and how actually very connected they are to humans. They're very human-driven dogs, and they really are, a special breed. They really are.
They are,
Yeah.
and they're so beautiful. I feel so bad for them because it's unwarranted. I get it. They're very strong. They're powerful dogs.
They're powerful dogs, and you have to have the right owner. They have to be trained properly because they are strong dogs, but that's with any strong dog. They are not, quote, more vicious than any other breed. In fact, they fall actually quite low on that scale. It's just unfortunate that we have some bad dog owners that have given them a bad rap.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they started my passion in rescue because I got some adopted that were at the shelter for a really long time, and they have such awesome stories. Later, I had one. His name was Slate. He was 5-6 years old. He was dumped. They don't know where he was from. He was gorgeous. We named him Slate because he was gray, and I showcased him every single day because he was at the shelter for a year and a half. And an actual veteran came, and she had lost her pit bull, and he reminded her of him and adopted this 5-6-year-old pit bull and made him a service animal.
Wow.
He traveled the country for veterans who have PTSD.
So what a life he has now.
Incredible.
What a life.
Incredible. She sent me pictures of him on the airplane in pajamas. I mean, it was just amazing.
Aww.
Yeah, he has since passed. It's been a few years now, but he got a second chance in life.
He definitely enjoyed the later half of his life, and he lived life to the fullest, I would imagine.
Yes.
So tell me, what makes One Paw at a Time different from other rescues in your experience?
Listen, I will say that Stephanie is extremely dedicated. She probably works 20 out of 24 hours a day. She gets every type of breed, including your puppy mills. So when people say, I need a hyperallergenic dog, I want a small dog, all those can be rescued too. So she gets a lot of those dogs that are rejects that unfortunately would end up in the wrong hands, and she saves those too, and she gets those dogs adopted as well.
How does she get them though? Because I heard that they're hard to come by because everybody wants them, the little dogs.
Yeah, so I think unfortunately with breeders out of state, I don't think it happens here, but a lot of southern states don't have the same regulations and western states, and they just either age out or they don't look the part, and the breeders don't want them. So it's a very sad, sad world. I don't try to get as involved in that piece as others do because it breaks my heart to know that they're mistreated. But, she focuses a lot on that, or, she just rescued 3 baby pitties that were dumped in Georgia. So, thankfully for New Jersey, we have a lot of shelters that need dogs to be adopted. But we don't have a lot of rescues needed that are dogs walking in the street necessarily.
Right.
So her focus is more on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's focused on more so getting them out of the street.
Right.
And at least into a place where they can be cared for until they get adopted.
Right.
What would you love everyone to know? People that don't know a lot about dog rescue, that are maybe thinking about adopting a dog or buying a dog, for that matter.
So this is what I always say to every single person that wants a specific breed. Any breed can be found through rescue. There are on average 6 to 7 million dogs euthanized a year across the country, and if every other person decided to not go to a breeder and to adopt instead, we wouldn't have that statistic. So if people are educated and know that they can go to a shelter, go to a rescue, and find their breed of choice, it's out there. And for me personally, I will always adopt older dogs because because they already have their personality. You already know who they are. Most of the time they're trained. And not that I don't love puppies, but it's a lot more work to have a puppy. So I try to steer people towards the older dogs too. Those are the ones that get adopted the least. And I just tell anybody that I know, what are you looking for? I will find it for you.
That's amazing. So in regard to older dogs, I've had a couple of instances in my family where we've adopted an older dog, and it's just amazing. I feel like they know. They know that you're saving them, and they're so grateful, and they're so sweet, and they're just the best.
Definitely know, and to see them walk out of a rescue or a shelter is something undescribable. It really is. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It melts me. It melts me.
I want to go back to the adopt versus buying a dog from a breeder or even a pet store, right? So, I mean, those dogs do need homes too. In your opinion, if people stopped buying dogs, would their business decrease to the point where they're not breeding so many?
Yeah.
And
I mean, listen.
There would be less for sale.
Yeah, there's reputable breeders, right, that only do like a litter, and then there's unreputable breeders that don't follow any regulations, that are backyard breeders that unfortunately you see a lot of them in like the Lancaster, PA area and other areas. They keep their the parent dogs in deplorable conditions. They unfortunately do not do justice by the dogs. I'm not talking about your reputable breeder that is breeding like one at a time and is taking care of the animals. But still, even in that respect, there's so many dogs that need to be adopted in this country that even with those, like, why are we continuing to bring more dogs in when there's so many dogs sitting in a shelter? And are being euthanized, truthfully. Like millions per year are being euthanized when, if you're a dog person, as you are, it doesn't matter what the breed is. Like, once they're with you,
I could care less.
Yeah, it's unconditional love. It's unconditional love. You know, you'll never be greeted the same way.
I know. It's 100% true.
Yeah.
It's that dog that is so happy to see you, no matter what's going on in the world.
Right.
And you can have the worst day ever, and they just make it better.
I say that to my kids all the time. I'm like, you don't greet me this way.
Yeah.
So the dogs are a little above you too.
They don't answer me back either, by the way, just for the record.
They don't roll their eyes. Right.
Oh my gosh. So what would you say to somebody who's getting ready to adopt? How can they make their home welcoming for their new family member, their new fur baby?
So listen, I always say, especially with shelter dogs, there is an adjustment period. There's a few days for them to understand their environment, a few weeks to be comfortable in the environment that they're in, because you don't know their past. You don't know, were they a street dog? Were they dumped by an owner? Did they have a house before? So you have to give them the grace of time to adjust to their environment, and within a few months, you will see their real personalities come out. Puppies are a little different. They don't have a history or a past.
They're green. I think. They don't know anything yet.
Right. But those are rescue too.
Person.
Those are rescue too.
Yeah, of course.
But the older ones just need the grace of time, and then they will show their true colors.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh my gosh.
And then when they do, it really is what you said. They're very thankful to have been rescued, especially the older ones. They know where they have been and where they are, and it's just amazing to see how excited they are to be in a better environment, for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what's something that is unusual or funny or surprising that you can tell us about rescue work that people may not know?
It's funny. It's the unpredictability, especially if you're dealing with an older dog, of learning their personality. I've come across so many different personalities in dogs where they can be funny, or they can be stubborn, or they're just hysterically playful. I just think every dog has a different personality, and like I said, going back to the pit bull breed, they're just a silly, silly breed.
They are.
And people just don't know how funny and silly they can be. Until you meet one, you really don't know what it's like to be around one. So
Oh my gosh.
I've had a million stories of how they are when I used to play with them, when I used to walk them, and just like fully dedicated to even me being there for such a short time for them every day, waiting for me to be there. It was, post-COVID, I haven't gone back to that world, unfortunately, but it is like if you
But
can,
you're still so involved.
yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, I am. I will always be. If I can have a farm with a bunch of dogs and cats on it, I would do it.
Have you seen that farm on social media,
Yes.
the Asher House?
Yes.
Oh my
yes,
God.
Yes. And there's
He
one
had-
in Greece, in Crete, that he has the same thing. It's incredible.
It's like I've heard so many people say over the years, if I only had a farm, I
Yes.
would like rescue all the dogs.
Yes.
And this guy does it.
He does it.
He actually does
He
it.
does it.
It's
Does it.
amazing.
It's my second life, Betty. It's gonna happen.
I see it. I see it. I totally see it.
It's gonna happen.
Oh my gosh. So I have this funny thing. It just came to mind. My daughter's dog, talking about personalities.
Yes.
This dog is such a mush and he wants so much attention, but it's not like he's bothering you. He's like laying on you.
Yeah.
He's cuddling
Yeah.
with you. He never leaves your side.
Yeah.
He gives you those puppy dog eyes.
Yeah.
Like wherever you go, he goes and he just
Yeah.
loves his family.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if that neediness was something he was born with or something that developed because he was rescued. I
Yeah.
think at 7 years old or maybe 6, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
either 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think there's a level of it in them because I've rescued older and I've rescued puppies too. So I feel like somehow they have a personality. But my older rescue that I rescued, and she's a smaller breed and I never had a small breed, she definitely grew into the personality
Okay.
because she was a very scared dog. It looks like they used her for breeding. They dumped her on the shelter fence with a rope, which was so sad. I brought her home and she was incredibly frightened by everything, by every
Okay.
noise, by everything. Now she is like queen on the top of the cake. Has my husband wrapped around her finger. She's like, what I say goes type of dog.
Okay, so she got comfortable.
8 years in, she is, and my middle one, I had another one who passed last year, but my middle one looks at her like, I don't think so. That's my role, But yeah, I feel like it's both. I feel like, on the onset, I think a dog has some personality, but I think it's grown into their environment.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
I like how you say my middle one, like you're talking about your children. They
yeah.
are your children.
They are. Now my 2 ladies that are left, my old ladies, they're old, so I'm not bringing a third one into the mix now, but it'll happen.
Oh, yeah. You're always going to have dogs in your life.
Always.
So, Kathy, for anyone feeling inspired today, what would you recommend is the first step for them to start the adoption process or, at least get more information?
Yeah, I mean, you can go anywhere online and find information about local shelters and local rescues that adopt out. I would implore anyone that has time on their hands to go volunteer at a shelter and play with the cats, walk the dogs. They need it so desperately, that human interaction, which they don't get often. But the adoption process is not difficult. If you're going through a reputable shelter and rescue, it's not a difficult process. A lot of people say, oh, they have so many stipulations on fences and this, that, and the other thing. If you come across one that doesn't fit you, find another one.
Right.
But there's so many out there, especially even in New Jersey. There's just so many out there. You can find the right fit for yourself, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if they want to come to One Paw at a Time Rescue,
One Paw
what do
at
you
a Time
recommend?
Rescue has a Facebook page.
Okay.
So they're also I think she has everything on Pet Finder as well. But if you look up One Paw at a Time Rescue West Milford,
Okay.
they have a full page of all of their available adoptions.
Okay, and they're in foster homes.
Yes.
There's no facility
Right.
where they're all housed
Yes,
while
there's-
waiting for adoption.
Yes, right now, I mean, she has a few one-offs that'll foster one dog, but her main 2 are in Butler, New Jersey, and right over the border. I think it's in Stony Point, New York, right over the border
Okay,
of
so
New
if
Jersey.
so if someone's interested in any one of those dogs,
Yes.
they'll just go to wherever they're being housed.
Yes, they'll contact One Paw at a Time rescue@gmail.com and send their interest. They'll send them an application. Approval is very quick because Stephanie knows her business, and then they visit the facility, the foster home that has the dog. We always do that before adopting out dogs. We want it to be the right fit for you, and sometimes it's a different dog.
Right.
You know, so for that reason, it's good to actually meet the dog and see and if you have other pets, they implore you to bring them to do a meet and greet and do that piece too, because that's important as well.
Absolutely. They have to get along.
Yes.
So one other question for you. What other guidelines, what other requirements do have to be met in order to adopt?
The most important thing is that your current dogs or your past dogs, cats, are spayed and neutered.
Okay.
They are firm believers. You can be my best friend, and still, if you didn't spay or neuter your animal, they're not going to adopt out to you because they do not want the overpopulation of animals. So that is criteria one. They do a background check and reference check on you just to make sure you're a good person.
That's right.
And a vet check if you did have prior pets, a vet check. But they don't care if you live in an apartment, if you live in a house, if you have a fence, if you don't have a fence. They are more specific to who are you and were you a good owner for a dog or a cat prior? And if you were, it's a good fit.
And then if the connection is there.
100%.
Yes.
100%. And Stephanie and the people that foster for her, who are way bigger animal lovers than even I am, they know.
Is that possible?
I know. Let me tell you, I am nothing compared to Stephanie and people like her. Like, they are full dedication, year-round, day in, day out. It is a really... You have to have the stomach for it because there are some sad stories. And you also have to be the person that is just fully dedicated to the cause. You know, and I am, from my love for animals, they are for the ability to get them adopted. They really are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love this conversation.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was
My
wonderful.
pleasure.
I really, really want to get the word out there. Adopt, don't shop.
Absolutely. And I agree 100%. I've always adopted, and it's definitely the way to go, in my humble opinion. But I believe that to be true. It's not just my opinion.
Of course. It is true. 100%.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for listening today. I hope this episode gave you clarity on your next move and maybe even inspired you to support a furry friend in need. Until next time, I'm Betty Russo, and this is Living the North Jersey Lifestyle. Let's keep making smart moves together and maybe share a few tail wags along the way.